You ever walk past your motorcycle sitting in the garage and just could swear it's judging you? Like it's got that sad puppy face under the headlight saying, "Oh, so you're taking the car out again today, are you? Oh, okay. No, it's fine. I'll just sit here alone again." Yeah, I've been there. Maybe you're even starting to feel a little bit guilty, like not riding every day somehow makes you less of a rider. And you start wondering, am I doing this wrong? Am I even still getting the same mental and physical benefits from riding if I only do it on the weekend? Well, today we're going to bust that myth wide open. Because the truth is, not everybody can ride every day. Jobs, families, errands, bad knees, we've all got stuff going on. That just makes you a responsible adult. So in this video, we're going to dig into the science and the real world experiences to answer one simple question. Do you need to ride every day to still get the benefits of riding? And the short answer? Nope. But the how and why behind that might just surprise you. Let's be real for a second. Most of us aren't full-time adventurers. We don't live on two wheels with nothing but a backpack, a GoPro, and a head full of wanderlust. We're weekend warriors. You know the type. You probably are the type. Monday through Friday, we've got jobs, meetings, kids, yard work, oil changes, bills, and maybe the occasional dentist appointment we keep rescheduling. Riding every day? That's just not realistic. It's damn near impossible. And that's okay. The motorcycle community has all kinds of riders. Some are out there grinding throttle cables down to the copper every morning. Others are lucky if they can sneak out for a couple hours on a Sunday afternoon before the honey-do list kicks in. But no matter how often you ride, the love of riding, that runs just as deep. But here's the thing, when life gets busy and that bike of yours starts collecting dust, it's easy to feel like you're falling out of touch with something that used to help define you. You start to wonder if the benefits, the mental reset, the joy, the freedom, only happen if you're riding constantly. And that's what we're unpacking today. This is for all of you out there that only ride on the weekend, or maybe even less. I mean, you miss your bike during the week, of course, but you can't just drop everything to go ride. And you want to know if you're still getting those same mental and physical perks, even if your riding time is limited. So let's break down the science behind those riding benefits, how long they actually last, and what really matters more than frequency. And spoiler alert, riding intentionally, even just once a week, might be better than commuting every day on autopilot. So if you've ever felt like a part-time rider in a world that seems full of daily road warriors, stick around. You might find out that you're doing just fine. Maybe even better than you thought. All right, so let's start with one of the main reasons we want to go ride in the first place, even if we don't always say it out loud. Riding makes us feel better. We don't need a PhD to know that hopping on a motorcycle clears your head. But in case you do like your science with a side of chrome, there is actual research backing this up. A 2019 study out of UCLA had riders wear brain monitoring equipment like EEG sensors and all that jazz, and what they found was pretty wild. After just 20 minutes of motorcycle riding, participants had increased alertness, similar to drinking a cup of coffee. They had decreased cortisol levels, that's your stress hormone, a more regulated heart rate, and increased by 11%. And those decreased cortisol levels, that went down by a whopping 28%. And they found more enhanced focus and sensory engagement as well. To put that in plain English, riding helps calm you down while waking you up. It's like meditation, but with horsepower. And here's the kicker. It does not take hours in the saddle to get that benefit. Just 20 or 30 minutes of focused riding can do the trick. That short loop around the lake on Saturday, that's not just scratching an itch, that's rewiring your brain. Now, compare that to a typical work week with emails, deadlines, commutes, and stop-and-go traffic, plus meetings that could have been emails. We carry all that stress around like saddlebags we didn't ask for. But when you get on the bike, helmet on, engine rumbling, wind rushing past you, suddenly it's just you and the road. Your brain shuts up for a minute, and that's what we call mindfulness. And most of us have a way easier time finding it on two wheels than sitting cross-legged on a yoga mat trying to ignore our to-do list. So when we say riding is good for your mental health, we're not just making it up. Your brain knows it, your body feels it. And that benefit doesn't vanish just because you're not riding every single day. Even one ride a week can act like a mental reset button, something many of us desperately need. All right, but what about the body? Does riding a motorcycle actually do anything for your physical health? The short answer is yeah. And the best part? Again, you don't have to be out there every day to feel it. Let's start with something obvious. Riding a motorcycle is not exactly a passive activity. Even though you're sitting, your body is working, especially on twisty roads or rough surfaces. I mean, think about it. You're constantly engaging your core to stay upright and balanced. Your legs are active, stabilizing the bike at stops and helping control movement. Your arms and shoulders manage the input from the handlebars and absorb road feedback. You're working your neck and upper back just from holding up a helmet for long periods. It's not CrossFit, sure, but it's also not a nap. In fact, modern riding can burn anywhere from 170 all the way up to 600 calories per hour, depending on your terrain, your riding style, and how much you're wrestling that beast around town or down the mountain. And if you ride a heavier bike like a big cruiser or a fully loaded touring rig, even more so. And if you're doing that even once or twice a week, you're still getting those physical benefits. The movement, the balance training, the reflex sharpening, it doesn't just vanish because it's not daily. It is a little like yoga, but much louder and with more bugs in your teeth. And it's more than just muscles. You're always scanning, calculating, adjusting, and honing your reaction times. Your clutch, throttle, and brake coordination is like a ballet. And do I even have to point out the benefits to posture and balance? So yeah, weekend warriors, you're still getting the goods. You don't need to ride daily to keep your reflexes sharp or to benefit from that low impact workout. Even riding once a week or once every 2 weeks keeps your mind-body coordination fresh. The key? Make the ride intentional. Don't just putt down to the gas station for some gummy worms. Ride somewhere that makes you use your whole body. Lean into the curves. Practice slow speed turns in an empty parking lot. Maybe take the long way home. Your body and your riding skills will thank you. But if you don't ride every day, when do you lose those benefits? When do they wear off? Let's dig into that, and here's how it works. Most of the benefits we've talked about, like reduced stress, improved mood, better focus, even those low-impact physical boosts, those don't disappear overnight. In fact, studies in psychology and neuroscience show that activities like mindful movement, flow state, and physical exertion can have effects that last anywhere from 24 to 72 hours. That means even if you're only riding once or twice a week, you're still riding the wave of those benefits well into the work week. It's like charging your mental battery. A good Sunday ride can carry you straight through a stressful Monday and Tuesday and halfway into Wednesday. And let's be honest, that midweek glow you get from thinking back on that last weekend ride, that's not just nostalgia. That's your brain re-experiencing that reward cycle. Dopamine, serotonin, all that good stuff. Now, obviously, if you go a few weeks without riding at all, your mood might dip a little bit, especially if riding is your main outlet. But it's not like your reflexes reset to zero or your body forgets how to clutch and lean. Think about it like going to the gym. If you work out once a week, are you Mr. Olympia? No. But are you doing your body a solid? Absolutely. Same with riding. You don't need to ride every single day to keep those physical and mental gears turning. You just need enough consistency to stay connected. And for most of us weekend warriors, once a week or even once a couple of weeks is enough to stay tuned in. Plus, let's not ignore the other benefit of not riding every day: anticipation. That Friday feeling when you know you've got a Saturday ride planned, that's powerful. Anticipation actually activates the same pleasure centers in your brain as the actual activity itself. It builds excitement, motivation, and even boosts your mood before you ever throw a leg over the bike. So no, you're not losing the benefits by skipping weekdays. If anything, the time in between helps you appreciate the rides even more. And when you finally do fire up, it feels that much better. We keep using that word intentional. And here's something a lot of riders, even long-time ones, don't always think about. It's not how often you ride, it's how you ride when you do. See, when time is limited, when you're not riding every day, you can actually get more out of your rides by being intentional about them. But what does that mean? It means instead of just hopping on the bike to grab milk or cruise the same 10 miles on autopilot, you ride with presence, with purpose. You pick a route that stirs something in you. You put your phone on Do Not Disturb. You soak in every lean, every gear shift, every detail. Even a short 30-minute ride can feel like a full-blown therapy session if you're really in it. This is the difference between just being on the bike and actually riding. And when you're intentional, you create what psychologists call a flow state. That's when your brain locks into full focus, distractions fall away, and you're just there, fully absorbed, fully alive. And I bet you've probably felt it before, that moment you forget what day it is because the curve demands your attention. That peaceful hum when your thoughts finally quiet down. Or that post-ride clarity where it comes to you. You suddenly know how to fix that thing that's been bothering you for weeks. And all of that comes from riding with intention. And you don't need to do it every day. You just need to mean it when you do. You want to make your limited time riding more meaningful? Try planning a route you haven't taken before. Even if it's just a more roundabout way to a familiar place. Ride solo once in a while without music so that you can hear your thoughts. Or maybe silence them. Look, you don't need a 400-mile weekend to reconnect with yourself. You just need a ride that makes you feel something. And that brings us to something most people overlook entirely. What's going on before and after the ride? That can matter just as much. Here's something that might surprise you. The ride doesn't start when you fire up the engine, and it doesn't stop when you pull back into the driveway. There's real magic in the stuff that happens around the ride, before and after, like anticipation. When you know a ride is coming, maybe it's penciled in for Saturday morning, you start thinking about it all week. What route you'll take, what the weather will be like, what gas station has the good coffee. That little hit of dopamine you get just from thinking about it, that's real. Anticipation activates the brain's reward system, the same one activated when you're actually doing the thing. So when you're daydreaming at work, thinking about that long sweeping curve through a mountain pass, or when you roll on that throttle coming out of a tight curve, your brain is already cashing in on the joy of the ride, even if it hasn't even happened yet. So if you can't ride every day, fine. But you can look forward to it. You can plan. You can daydream without guilt. And that anticipation is giving you part of the benefit already. And on the flip side of that is reflection. After a ride, you don't just park the bike and forget it happened. You get to replay it, to talk about it, to look at the video footage if you record it, share the route with friends. All of that reinforces the positive emotions and anchors that experience in your memory. Reflection deepens the ride's impact. It's not just nostalgia, it's mental reinforcement. You're reminding your brain, this was good, this mattered, let's do it again. You're basically stretching the benefits of the ride out across the week, like leftovers from a great meal. Still satisfying, even days later. All right, so what about when life really gets in the way and the bike just stays parked, like for a long time? Maybe it's raining multiple weekends. Maybe work is insane. Maybe you're waiting on parts to fix your ride. Or maybe you just don't have it in you today. That's all totally normal. But even on days when you can't ride, you don't have to disconnect completely. There are plenty of ways to stay connected in between rides. How about some wrench time? Spending time with your bike may sound silly, but even if you're not riding, it has benefits. Clean it, check your tire pressure, tighten that mirror that keeps drifting down like it's ashamed of you. Detailing chrome might not sound exciting, but it's therapeutic. It's tactile. It's a connection. And hey, nothing feels better than rolling out on a clean, dialed-in machine after a solid garage session. Or how about digital immersion? We all love watching riding videos, moto vlogs, bike reviews, or putting in our 2 cents on online forums. There's a whole virtual garage out there. Spend some time watching other people ride. It's not a one-for-one substitute, but it feeds the habit. And it helps you learn, laugh, or just live vicariously until your next ride. You might even find some satisfaction in motorcycle simulator games. I mean, it's not the same as leaning into a real curve, but it keeps riding part of your day-to-day thinking. Or how about tinkering and customizing? Maybe you've been wanting to install that new exhaust or upgrade your seat, swap out your grips. Do it, or at least plan it. Half the fun of motorcycling is the personal touch, the idea that your bike is more than just transportation. It's a blank canvas that you can make a reflection of you. And the more time you spend around it, even when it's not running, the more likely you are to stay emotionally invested. And if none of that works, how about some route planning? Fire up Google Maps or whatever dedicated motorcycle route planner you prefer, like Rever or Kellymoto. Start building that dream ride for next weekend, or that one Sunday you know you're going to have free. Map it out. Add gas stops and attractions, scenic detours. Again, just planning a ride lights up your brain's reward center. And now you've got something exciting, locked and loaded for next time. Let me say this as clear as I can. No matter what the internet tries to tell you, you do not have to ride every day to be a real rider. If you can only ride once a week, that's riding. Once a month, still counts. If you feel it in your gut when the engine fires up and your mind clears the moment that visor snaps down, you're a rider in my book. Full stop. People have built this weird myth in some corners of the motorcycle world that daily saddle time is some kind of badge of honor. But life doesn't always care about badges. Sometimes you got work, or kids, or health stuff, or just plain exhaustion. That doesn't make you less of a rider. That just makes you a normal human being. And in a lot of ways, I think weekend warriors may actually get the best of both worlds. You look forward to every ride. You savor the time in the saddle. You treat it like something special, not just routine. So if you've been feeling a little bit less than just because you're not out there every day, let that go, man. Seriously. Ride when you can and love it when you're doing it. You may not have miles per day, but if you've got joy per ride, you're doing it fine. If this video helped you shake off a little of that guilt, then hit that like button so YouTube knows that this kind of content matters. And tell me in the comments, are you a Saturday morning regular? Or maybe you're just a once a month escape artist? Get a conversation going, because trust me, there are a lot more weekend warriors out there than you might think. In fact, I'm guessing we're probably the majority. And meanwhile, as we love to say, ride hard, stay salty, and we'll see you in the next one.